In the Igbo village of Umudike, nestled among lush green forests and fertile lands, a hero was born, Obinna, the warrior with unmatched strength and courage. Umudike was more than just a village, it was a haven blessed by the gods, a place where tradition, reverence for ancestors, and tales of legendary heroes formed the very foundation of life. The villagers were proud of their heritage, and Obinna was the living embodiment of their ideals. Early life and training of a warrior. Obinna was not just born strong, he was shaped by a rigorous life. His father, a respected warrior, had passed down not only physical skills but also a code of honor. From a young age, Obinna learned to be swift, to be strategic, and to rely on his instincts. He was taught not only to wield weapons, but also to respect the spirits of the land, the trees, and the river. Each morning, he would run to the hilltop where the winds of the ancestors whispered stories to him, filling his heart with purpose. But peace was fragile. Rumors began to reach Umudike of a powerful warlord from the north, seeking to conquer fertile lands and enslave villages. Known only as Ogannaru, he had already taken several neighboring villages by force, using his large army to intimidate and destroy. The elders of Umudike grew anxious, sensing that Ogannaru's gaze would soon fall on them. The village diviners consulted the spirits, seeking guidance, and they warned of a coming storm. The omen and Obinna's vow. On the night of the Yam festival, an ominous sign appeared. A comet, red as blood, streaked across the sky, casting an eerie glow over the village. The elders and diviners gathered, reading the signs, and their fears were confirmed. This was a sign of war. They turned to Obinna, knowing he was their only hope. Under the ancient moonlight, Obinna addressed his people. He promised that no harm would come to Umudike as long as he lived. The villagers cheered, placing their faith in him, believing his strength would protect them. Obinna then made his way to the sacred shrine of Amadioha, the thunder god, to seek guidance. Standing before the ancient baobab tree, he swore an oath to defend his village, even if it meant his life. The first battle and Obinna's strength. The next dawn, just as predicted, Ogannaru's forces arrived. Warriors clad in iron and shields bore down upon Umudike with ruthless determination. Obinna met them at the edge of the forest, a lone figure standing defiantly against an army. His strength and bravery inspired the men who fought beside him, and together, they held their ground. Obinna fought with a ferocity that none had seen before. He moved like a whirlwind, his spear striking down enemies with deadly accuracy, his shield deflecting every blow. His strength was not just physical, it was spiritual. The ancestors seemed to guide his every move, and the earth itself seemed to protect him. The battle raged for days, with Obinna's forces pushing back Ogannaru's army at every turn. By the third day, Ogannaru's warriors retreated, leaving behind a field littered with fallen soldiers. The people of Umudike rejoiced, hailing Obinna as their hero, the curse and Obinna's destiny. As the villagers celebrated, Obinna was weary. He had spent every ounce of his energy protecting his people, and though victorious, he knew Ogannaru would return. He went to the shrine once more, seeking strength for the future. There, under the ancient baobab tree, he collapsed, whispering to the ancestors for guidance. At that moment, a powerful spirit emerged, an old, mystical being that embodied the earth itself. This spirit of the mountain looked upon Obinna with reverence and compassion. Obinna, the spirit's voice rumbled, your courage has saved your people. But you are weary, and your body cannot continue. I will grant you rest. You shall sleep beneath this land for 100 years, bound to the roots of the earth, and when Umudike needs you again, you shall awaken. With that, Obinna's body sank into the soil, roots encircling him, covering him in a deep and peaceful sleep. The villagers, upon discovering what had happened, mourned the loss of their hero. They built a shrine where he lay, and each year, they honored his memory with offerings and prayers, passing down his story from one generation to the next. As time passed, Umudike continued to prosper. Obinna's legend grew, and his story became an essential part of the village's identity. Elders told the tale to children around fires, reminding them of the warrior who had given everything to protect his people. The shrine remained a place of worship, and people believed that Obinna's spirit watched over them. But after many generations, the memory of Oganeru's attack began to fade. Yumidike grew wealthy and powerful, its riches attracting the attention of faraway kingdoms. A new threat emerged, a greedy chieftain from the western lands, who sought to claim Yumidike's resources for himself. This chieftain, known as Ikena the Ruthless, was a man of ambition and cruelty. He gathered a formidable army, vowing to conquer Yumidike and seize its wealth. As the enemy reached the shrine, a rumbling filled the earth. The ground began to tremble, and a bright light emerged from beneath the ancient tree. The roots shifted, and from the soil rose a figure clad in armor, holding a spear that shone like lightning. It was Obinna, awakened from his 100-year slumber. His eyes burned with a fierce determination, and his body radiated an energy that seemed drawn from the very soul of the land. The enemy soldiers froze in terror, realizing they faced a legend come to life. Obinna, with a voice like thunder, warned them to leave Yumidike or face the wrath of the ancestors. But Ikena, proud and foolish, scoffed at the warning and ordered his men to attack. The battle that ensued was unlike any before. Obinna fought with the strength of 100 men, his spear moving with divine speed and precision. The spirits of the ancestors seemed to guide his hand, each strike sending shockwaves through the battlefield. The earth itself rose to shield him, trees bent to block the enemy's path, and the river surged, cutting off their escape. One by one, Ikena's men fell, unable to withstand the power of a warrior blessed by the gods. Ikena, realizing his defeat, tried to flee, but Obinna's spear found him before he could escape. The chieftain fell, his ambition and cruelty silenced forever. As dawn broke, the people of Yumidike gathered around their hero, who stood victorious once more. But Obinna, his duty fulfilled, knew his time had come. He spoke to the villagers, blessing them with prosperity and peace, and he returned to the shrine. The roots of the earth wrapped around him once again, and he became one with the land he had vowed to protect. The people of Yumidike honored Obinna's memory by maintaining his shrine and passing down his story to each new generation. They knew that if ever their village was threatened again, their warrior would rise to protect them.